I'm not ignoring you. I'm texting.
No, bro. It's fine. Trust me, I know.
Okay. All right. We are live, y'all. This is Follow Friday. I'm bringing it back. You know, I might even call it a Throwback Friday because I'm bringing it back to Friday, what it used to be. And I'm excited to be in studio here with the one and only Mr. Stephen Anthony King.
Thank you, brother.
That's what's up.
Blessings.
I met this young man many moons ago. You see how old I am. Talk about baby boons. But I met this young man and his beautiful wife, and their collaborative effort was something called Complete Chocolate Couples in New York. And that collaborative effort, for myself as a person who was single, I was super duper impressed that this couple was out there um, repping for couples and really letting people know how they can be in a good relationship, have fun, and just enjoy life. So that's my framework for knowing Stephen and his wife Tina. And I wanted to just make sure that folks know. I had a couple of people DM me on Instagram. Hey, what's the name of that group? What's the name of that? And so, bro, Complete Chocolate Couples is still a banger. That CCC still there. You know, many nights we stayed up on the phone talking about how to position you guys, and then ran into you on Clubhouse. Had spoke to you in a long time.
Yeah.
And was shocked to find out that you have not shocked to find out you've written a book, but shocked to find out that you wrote a book about the subject matter you wrote. So can you tell us about your book? It's really good to see you.
Well, thank you, brother. Thank you. Once again, before we start, I just want to give you your flowers for being so instrumental in catapulting Complete Chocolate Couples. You know, I don't know if we could have done it without your strategic positioning and your networking capability. You plugged us in with a lot of people that we have still, we nurture really good relationships with today. So I want to just extend my gratitude, my wife's gratitude for you and helping us to really propel Complete Chocolate Couples to the level that it's at. With regards to the book, it's really good to see you. This book, everyone. It chronicles my 2017-2018 journey with four eye operations, temporary blindness, and the threat of permanent blindness. I've been challenged visually my entire life. I've had 14 eye operations in total, but up until 2017, I had 10 eye operations. I had sight in only my left eye, and that was challenged. I had a condition that was diagnosed as a macular hole, which is a pothole in your retina. So it affects the center of your vision. Now, keep in mind, up until that point, I've had 10 other surgeries, 4 of which were on this left eye, and some of my peripheral was gone. So if I lose the center of my vision, I'm pretty much at zero. And the first doctor I went to diagnosed me and told me pretty much that he wasn't going to operate on my eye. It was too volatile a situation. It was too risky because of all the previous surgeries. And he started giving me recommendations for visual aid companies, pretty much telling me that I was going to go blind. Now, I don't fault him for that because in his heart, that was the right thing to do. But it wasn't for me. I left his office, immediately went to the Silver Cane, the Seeing Eye Dog. My wife's going to leave me, not going to be able to support my family, my grandchild. And I had to make a decision right there in Manhattan on 86th Street between Park and Lexington Avenue, whether I was just going to crawl up, go into a corner and let this thing defeat me, or if I was going to fight and fight to the end. And I made a decision to fight to the end. And it was at that point that I decided that if I'm going to go blind, it's not going to be for lack of effort on my part. Because what would haunt me more than anything other than going blind is going blind saying, what if? Just what if I would have went and got one more opinion from another doctor? So it was at that point that I decided to fight. And I went and got a second opinion. And then I went and got a third opinion. And on that third opinion, I was introduced to someone who didn't operate on me, but he put me in touch with literally, and I say this without exaggeration, the best doctor in the world for the type of surgery I needed. His name is Dr. Stanley Chang. You can Google him. He's been in practice for over 40 years. He was chairman of the board for Columbia Ophthalmology Department here in New York City at Columbia Presbyterian Hospital. He actually invented procedures that are widely used today around the world.
That's
I mean,
interesting.
yes. And you don't get to just see this guy. And when you read the story, you'll see how that third doctor who introduced me to him went hard for me. So it didn't even start with Dr. Chang. It started with a gentleman by the name of Dr. Freilich, who really would not stop at getting me in to see Dr. Chang. And as the story continues, we have one surgery. And I don't want to give away too much of the book, but I'll just give you the premise. And that surgery didn't go too well. I had to have a second surgery. And then I had to have a third surgery. And then I had to have a fourth cleanup surgery.
Wow.
You know? So
can we stop for a second and just curious, how did you talked about for a second the thought process of learning you've been written off, you're going to lose your eye. And I remember talking to my mother, who's not here, but she had a similar experience with cancer.
Mm-hmm.
She said that cancer was ravaging her body. It was in every part of her body, whether it was toes, fingers. There was some cancerous cell. So we're not going to even try chemo.
Mm.
And I remember that conversation, and I was like, D word and like F word. And she was all like, well, I'm going to, there's raw diets and alkaline can stop the increasing of cancer cells.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, what does that mean? So, but she went and found oncologists that would work with her out of Temple, and she went and found, a bunch of other folks. And the next conversation I had were, well, I'm walking 4 miles a day. That's going to increase this. I'm doing it. I was like, really? Like, okay. Don't you want to like go see everybody? Kind of like go ahead and like give up and just like prepare. We get to the hospital. We let you die at peace. Maybe get some weed. And this is before weed was popular, so she would never smoke weed. But
yeah,
now today I can see her doing weed and CBD. But anyway, my point was, mom was like, nope. I'm here. I'm staying here. I ain't going nowhere.
That's right.
So what is that thing inside you that said, besides the wife, the kids, and stuff, and it sounded like you didn't want to waste the opportunity that you could have had? What is that it, that you didn't want to waste the opportunity to try one more try?
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, my why, not the letter Y, but my why, the WHY, was my family. And I think it's the measure of any man to want to protect and provide and be the head of his family.
Yep.
And at that point, protecting my family was not becoming a liability to them.
Right.
Was not becoming a burden to them. And as I said, it was at that point that if it was going to happen, it was going to be completely God's will. It was not going to be as a result of lack of effort on my part.
Got it.
And that fueled my passion and my desire to keep moving forward. And that's kind of the overlapping theme in the book. The book was written for everyone, first of all, because we have all been faced with what appears to be an insurmountable challenge in life. And we have a choice.
Yes.
We can do one or two things. We can punk out and give it our lunch money. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Or we can stand up and fight. And generally, the old adage, the best way to beat a bully is to punch him in the face. He's usually a punk and he goes away. You find out he's not as tough as he appears to be.
Right. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you 100%. I wanted to just shout out Doris, who's leaving a comment that she says, dedication. And I'm happy to see you advocated for yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, Doris.
I also find it curious that you wrote a book about it. So why a book? Um, is it part of a strategy to get a movie done? Is it part of a strategy? Or you're like, you know what? I got so many situations, so much stuff that happened to me. I need to just put this in the book.
Great question, and I'll sum it up in one word: gratitude.
Oh,
When the doctor finally told me, Steve, I think we got you out the woods, I was so overwhelmed with gratitude. I knew that I could not keep this story to myself. It would have been larceny. It would have been robbery. To go through so much, to experience God's power firsthand, his grace firsthand, and not share that testimony. And for me, the best way to do it was put it in a book. Quite honestly, and I say this with all sincerity, it wasn't for the profit. It wasn't for the celebrity. It wasn't to be a New York Times bestseller. Now, don't get it twisted. I'll take all that, right? But that was not the underlying motive. It was really, I'm a firm believer that showing gratitude is not just saying thank you. Gratitude is an action. It's an action word. And I thought at that point it was my duty to spread this message to somebody who may be stuck right now in a situation that they're this close to giving up on and not trying anymore. And I'm here to say, you got to keep trying. You cannot give up.
That's very true.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get anything by giving up.
You're not.
Zero.
You miss 100% of the shots that you never take.
Right. On that subject of advocating for yourself, especially in a medical place,
mm-hmm.
Did you have to do a deep dive into eyesight and all kind of things so you prepared before you talked to Dr. Chen or the doctor before Dr. Chen? Or was it just, look, I'm going to make my case that if I can save my vision, I'm going to use my vision to the best of my ability and or what had happened?
Well, great question. And I don't know if we mentioned it here or if it was on IG Live, but my first eye operation was when I was 7 years old. So I had a lot of experience with the medical terminology and the medical aspect of my condition.
Got it.
First operation at 7, had 3 more when I was 16. And again, up until the point of the start of the book, I had 10 eye surgeries. So I was well versed in the condition, in the retina itself, in the treatment of the retina. And again, going and getting that first opinion, that second opinion, that third opinion, each time I went to another doctor, in hope of this doctor being the one to save me.
Yes.
I was armed with more information each time.
So you find that this is something I've observed in certain situations I've been in medical. I'm not going to speak on, but do you find that when you know as much as possible as this medical professional about their discipline, do you find that they're more intrigued and they want to talk and open up and shoot the ish with you?
It depends. It depends on the personality. All doctors don't have the best bedside manner, and I'm sure we all have experience with that.
Amen to that, brother.
And but I'll be honest with you. And in the beginning, I felt that way about Dr. Cheng. Not that he was cold and crass and dismissive, but he was very matter of fact. There were no guarantees. He's not giving me a guarantee because there is no guarantee.
Right.
He would just state the facts. He would state the percentages, and that was it. And of course, I'm in this emotional state, and I'm looking for someone to console me.
Right.
That's not his job.
No.
And this man has done thousands of surgeries. So I'm definitely not the first emotional wreck who sat in his office. And I'm sure that over his 40-year career, he might have made the mistake early on in trying to give someone hope, just because he's a human being and he sees what those people are going through. But if he gives you that hope and it doesn't turn out the way you expect it to, then he's kind of on the hook.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Dr. Chang, you told me this and you told me that. And I'm certain that over 40 years he's experienced that.
Right.
So, you know, understanding his position, I didn't put unrealistic expectations on him to be my consoler or my therapist. He was the eye doctor. He gave me the facts, and I would make a decision based on the facts.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good. That was, you know, sometimes I try to make sure that the entire audience, somebody that may come along this video, I'm sure we'll cut and paste this video and use it for other things, can hear this and hear it in their lens, not just like yourself, myself. I've dealt with a child who had a debilitating brain injury, and went to the highest possible neurologist in the country, and hired them out of pocket. So and sat, on their time before Zoom, sat on calls with them, conference calls. And I think when you are in those positions, especially like you said, from a childhood place, you really get to see some of the finest human beings on the planet.
Yes.
You can see some not so fine human beings on the planet. And I think, some people who have never experienced this position of, a life-changing event in your body, because of that, I think a lot of times you and I may have a different lens on how to deal with people.
Yes.
So can you speak on the fear factor? You spoke about right after the doctor basically rejected you and rejected treatment for you, not rejected you. But that fear factor, I don't know, 12th operation. Chang is the best, but I'm on my 12th operation, or I'm on 11th operation. Is this gonna work? Is this really gonna work? How do you deal with what's inside you, so you stay in the place you started at, which was like, I don't want to miss an opportunity. You get to Dr. Chang, you think it's you reach the highest height, so to speak, and then it's like, the voice starts, and that voice of negativity, or that voice of this ain't gonna work. Why are you even trying?
Yeah. Good question. So, what has helped me prepare for every traumatic experience that I've had in life, the death of my mother, car accidents, joblessness, prison, has always been a strong spiritual foundation and a strong spiritual maintenance. Not religious, spiritual.
Right.
I believe in a higher power. I believe in a creator. And I believe in, on a consistent basis, trying to improve my conscious contact with that creator.
I like that contact. Steve, you be dropping these gems. Conscious contact. I gotta write that one down. I got another one in your book release party. Like, you just got these gems, boy.
Because we all have an unconscious contact, but I try to maintain that conscious contact, and I do that through prayer, through meditation, through affirmation, and through always seeking more information through books, through sermons. Because I do church. I'm not down with the dogmatic rituals, but I do believe there's a message in church, and there's an energy in church, and I believe there's a spirit in church that is uplifting. So, I'm a firm believer that you will get what you look for. And if you seek a contact with that higher being, with that higher power, and can tap into that energy, you'll find it. And like when this happened, I had never meditated more in my life. I had never prayed more. I had never affirmed more. I used visualization. You know, one of my anchor thoughts when the bugaboos crept in was to visualize my granddaughter, who at the time was only 4 years old. I would visualize clapping and screaming and acting the fool at her college graduation. You see what I'm saying? So that
Yeah,
was
brother. Oh yeah, I'm gonna come to that. I want to be there with you.
that was. I mean, you
I
know,
want to get a confetti shooter.
yeah, just
I think-
embarrassing her, just embarrassing her.
Yeah, we should do the grandparents game. Let's do the grandparents game. And this bald-headed black guy show up at these random.
That's right.
It's the grandparents gang. Grandpa gang is out there. Woo, woo, woo. You know, go
Correct.
ahead, yeah, another generation, third generation.
Correct. And
So,
you know,
that
it's
was great. Thank you for that visualization.
yeah, it's so interesting because again, through me seeking knowledge, I'm very intrigued with how the human mind works and how the brain works.
Right.
And studies show that if you ponder on a thought for just 17 seconds, you'll start to create another thought that's similar to that thought.
I did that. I did not know.
It's deep, but it works both ways. It can work to your benefit or it can work to your detriment. So if I'm stuck on a negative thought, right, and I'm just, and we've all been there. We've all been like, you know, in that point where, you got to snap out of it because you have gone so far deep. It's because one thought creates another thought, creates another thought. So it's very important to always think about what you're thinking about. And if you're in a negative mindset, it's important to disrupt that thought process and then shift it. Right. So I'm not perfect. I'm not going to say I'm the perfect disciple of the Most High. I got scared. Fear is a human emotion, you know, and negative thoughts were definitely constant. Right. But I had tools and techniques to counteract those. And one of them was creating that anchor thought. When I catch myself going down that wrong, street where I might wind up face to face with a dude who needs a serious manicure and a dirty striped sweater and an old beat up fedora, right? I could catch myself, turn around and shift my thoughts. And I would shift my thoughts by really, really, really focusing on that graduation with my granddaughter and really feeling it. I would catch myself smiling. I would catch her saying, "Grandpa, stop, you're embarrassing me," and me not caring. And what it did was
0 Fs.
Yeah, none to give. The F bank account is completely withdrawn. But what it did is disrupt those negative thoughts and put me in a better space. And another thing, I really had trouble sleeping at nights. So instead of, I didn't rely on my own, thought process and my own willpower to do it. So when I would be up late at nights, I would listen to audiobooks. Instead of just laying there and let my thoughts wander, I would listen to books like Joel Osteen. He has a great book, a 30-day declaration book, 31-day declaration book called I Declare. Or I would listen to T.D. Jakes or anything inspirational, Les Brown. I would make sure that I occupy my mind with positive substance instead of just letting my thoughts go crazy. Because I really would have gone crazy.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got it. Wow. Well, let's tell the audience where they can buy your book, how they can follow you on social media, your IG, and what's coming up next for you on Monday, the 7th.
Fantastic. Thank you. Before I start that, Martin, again, all praises due to you. You have always been a staunch supporter of my wife and myself in all our endeavors, and I'm really grateful to you for that. The book you can find on, if you want a personally autographed book, you can go to my website. It's reallygoodtoseeyou.com. And everyone who purchases from my website, I will personally sign the book for you and mail it out to you. It's also available on Amazon in paperback and ebook form. If you just type in my full name, Stephen Anthony King, Stephen is with a V, or you can type in the title of the book, It's Really Good to See You. On IG, I am King 1199. That's the letter I am King 1199. On Facebook, I'm Stephen Anthony King. If you want to email me, you can, to find out what's coming up for me in the future in terms of speaking engagements, at Stephen@itsreallygoodtosee.you.com. That's STEVEN @itsreallygoodtosee.you.com. And I'm really so excited about Monday. Monday is the book launch. We are launching and celebrating on Clubhouse. So if you're on Clubhouse, my handle is @IamKing1199. Tag me, follow me, or follow Martin. He'll tell you his handle. And on Monday at 6 p.m., we're doing the Clubhouse launch. We're also going to be live on IG and Facebook earlier in the day. So if you follow Martin, you'll have more information about that. Or you can, if you follow me on IG, you'll find out more about that. But I'm so excited about the launch on Clubhouse this coming Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yeah, that's right, y'all. I'm super excited to be a part of this.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Stephen, thank you for joining us.
Martin,
it's really good to see you.
It's really good to see you, my brother.
All right, y'all. We'll see you on Monday. See you in these Clubhouse streets, and please be safe this weekend.
Peace and blessings to all. Thank you, Martin.
You're welcome.
My man.